Yao Ming is the greatest athlete in the history of Chinese basketball, but after he became the leader of Chinese basketball, the national team's performance, referring to the five-man basketball team, deteriorated significantly. Especially, they missed the Olympics twice in a row after 34 years, one of which was the World Cup held at home, and the other time they didn't even qualify for the Olympic qualifying tournament. In the league, there were also suspected match-fixing incidents, with teams threatening to withdraw from the league more than once. Why is this happening? Let's explore a few aspects. 1. Before Yao Ming became the chairman of the Chinese Basketball Association. After retiring, Yao Ming remained active in Chinese basketball, buying the Shanghai team where he grew up. However, the operation was average, which led to his dissatisfaction with the Chinese basketball ecosystem. On the other hand, in 2015, the top Chinese Super League sold broadcasting rights for a record $8 billion, causing a stir in the Chinese basketball community. At that time, it was not easy for basketball league broadcasting rights to sell for even $1 billion. Therefore, some influential basketball figures led by Yao Ming believed that with a reform plan similar to football, the basketball league could also achieve similar success. In 2016, these people, including most neutral clubs in the CBA, challenged the Chinese Basketball Association. Objectively speaking, many of the demands raised in this challenge were met, but the results were not entirely as Yao Ming had hoped. Firstly, two clubs explicitly opposed Yao Ming's call, and the clubs that responded to Yao Ming's call also had their own agendas, leading to a situation where each club followed the wind. This issue was eventually resolved with Yao Ming being appointed as the president of the CBA League, through which he gained a lot of prestige. Many people in China believe that as long as Yao Ming leads Chinese basketball, there will be a bright future. 2. Becoming the most powerful chairman in the history of the Basketball Association. In 2016, at the Rio Olympics, the Chinese delegation got off to a bad start, with a total score of only third place, causing great dissatisfaction among the senior officials. Guo Zhongwen, who did not come from a sports background, was appointed as the new leader of the Sports Bureau. The emergence of the new leader meant a new adjustment in the power structure, and Guo Zhongwen's approach was to carry out the so-called institutionalization of the association, leading to Yao Ming being selected as the leader of the Basketball Association. The institutionalization reform faced resistance in many areas, such as the table tennis incident of withdrawal. Guo Zhongwen faced various doubts for a long time, but eventually, due to the performance at the Tokyo Olympics and the Beijing Winter Olympics, he received widespread praise upon retirement. With Yao Ming's high prestige, the reform in basketball progressed very smoothly. With support from higher leadership, all signs indicate that Yao Ming is the most powerful leader in the history of the Chinese Basketball Association. For example, Yao Ming sold the center circle advertising space in the CBA League to China Life. It is worth mentioning that Yao Ming is the main spokesperson for this company, so there has been a saying among the Chinese public that Yao Ming gave up his endorsement fee for the CBA League, but current evidence shows that this claim is not true. Note that I am not discussing whether this transaction is reasonable. I just want to emphasize that before Yao Ming, the center circle advertising in the CBA basketball court was always in a state of prohibition. Other policies implemented by Yao Ming will be mentioned below. 3. Learning from the NBA, learning the basketball ecosystem in the United States. Yao Ming's important decision direction is to comprehensively learn from the United States, and he has achieved some success in this regard, such as player salary caps and player contract classifications. Yao Ming's good friend, the former leader of the NBA in China, Wang Dawei, was appointed as the CEO of the CBA company, in a role similar to that of Adam Silver. Wang Dawei may be a capable person, but due to a scandal involving a married female subordinate, he was eventually forced to step down in embarrassment. Perhaps Yao Ming tried to protect him, and the mainstream Chinese basketball media remained silent immediately after the incident. However, Wang Dawei had conflicts with Lu Hongjiang, the leader of the Shenzhen club. Under pressure from this club leader, some football journalists were the first to expose the scandal, making the situation irreparable. The downfall of an important collaborator undoubtedly had a negative impact on Yao Ming's reforms. But even if everything goes smoothly, it is difficult to say that learning comprehensively from the NBA and the American basketball ecosystem is without any harm. There are too many differences between the Chinese Basketball League and the NBA. Firstly, China has only one time zone, and basketball clubs are mostly concentrated on the East Coast, so there is no need for geographical divisions like the NBA. Secondly, Chinese basketball clubs will train their own players, and China does not have a large interest group like the NCAA, so the league did not previously have age restrictions forcing players to go to college to play, now limited to 18 years old. In this regard, the basketball ecosystem in China may be more similar to Europe, where players like Yao Ming, Dirk Nowitzki, Ricky Rubio, and Luka Doncic started training at clubs at a very young age, around 14 or 15, and appeared in professional matches. Therefore, player trades or draft systems are not the same for the Chinese Basketball League as they are for the NBA. Lastly, the CBA League does not cover the vast majority of regions in China. Approximately 600 million people live in areas without CBA teams, including economically stable regions like Hubei and Anhui. Most clubs in these areas participate in a league called the NBL, a league where Hassan Whiteside once played. There used to be promotion and relegation in the Chinese Basketball League, but it was abolished in the 2000s as part of learning from the NBA. The current relationship between the NBL and CBA is somewhat like the relationship between the ABA and the NBA, where NBL clubs exist mainly to join the CBA. However, Yao Ming's reforms have restricted them from the CBA's profit system. Previously, the Chinese Basketball Association held a certain share in the CBA League, hoping to provide these shares to new teams when expanding the CBA League in the future. However, after Yao Ming took office, he sold these shares at a low price to other CBA teams and used the excuse of the CBA League's 5-year plan to reject the entry of NBL teams. After the expiration of the 5-year plan, NBL teams or basketball leaders from their regions openly questioned Yao Ming. In 2021, the chairman of the Shaanxi Basketball Association and at the time also a vice chairman of the Chinese Basketball Association, Wang Libin, expressed the demand for expanding the CBA, but all of this was in vain. Unable to share profits with the CBA and with no hope of joining, the operation of the NBL deteriorated, facing a suspension in 2023. After a reluctant recovery, during the NBL finals, due to dissatisfaction with the referees, long-standing conflicts erupted, leading to the direct withdrawal of the Shaanxi club from the competition. Recent reports indicate that long-standing NBL clubs are facing dissolution. Perhaps adopting the league model of the NBA comprehensively is not a very wise choice. Chinese basketball may need a solution that includes more club interests, such as promotion and relegation or tournaments outside the independent league.